Dust on the truck bed, mile after mile. Fields stretch out wide like they got a mind of their own. Red sign at the hall, coffee gone cold. Everybody talking with a fire in their bones. Hear that rumble now, under boots on the floor. October is coming and we want something more. October 19th, we're standing up. October 19th, we've had enough. Alberta singing loud, let the whole world hear. October 19th, freedom's here. Hard hats on hooks, checks run thin, hands on the ledger and the same old grin. From the shop to the rig, from the barn to the street, people keep asking, what do we believe? Hear that rumble now, under boots on the floor. October is coming and we want something more. October 19th, we're standing up. October 19th, we've had enough. Alberta singing loud, let the whole world hear. October 19th, freedom's here. Maybe you call it a break, maybe you call it a line, but when the lights go red, we won't waste our time. October 19th, we're standing up. October 19th, we've had enough. Alberta singing loud, let the whole world hear. October 19th, freedom's here. Midnight on the rooftop, old flag in my hands, ancient lion on the canvas, facing steel and desert sand. They try to paint our story over with the blacked out lies and chains, but under every burned out poster I still hear our father's names. Persia will rise, I swear it. Hear that echo in my bones. From Shiraz streets to the Caspian stones. We're breaking their walls, we bear it. Every scar, every battle cry. You can cage your body, but the soul won't die. Mothers hide photographs, gold sewn in their seams. Kids trade banned books in back rooms, holding on to buried dreams. They think the fear will last forever on those towers of rust and smoke, but granite cracks in quiet weather, one true word can split a yoke. Persia will rise, I swear it. Hear that echo in my bones. From Shiraz streets to the Caspian stones. We're breaking their walls, we bear it. Every scar, every battle cry. You can cage your body, but the soul won't die. the dark, for the dancers in silence, keeping rhythm in their hearts. Hey, for the brothers in prisons, carving dates into the stone. You are not forgotten, you are not alone. Pressure will rise, I swear it. Hear that echo in my bones. From terror roofs to the ancient thrones. We're breaking their walls, we bear it. Every tear, every battle cry. You can cage your body, but the soul won't die. Pressure will rise. Oh, pressure will rise. We stand together till the falcons fly.
Good morning. Welcome to the NPC show. Deprogramming the world one NPC at a time. I'm your host Frank. Today is, was it Tuesday? Tuesday, July 21st, 2026. Good morning, everyone. How you doing? Oh, rough start again. That's what I get for being distracted. That's what I get for being distracted. Lots to cover. Lots of international stuff. I thought Mamdani wanting to arrest Netanyahu when he comes to New York was going to be the headlining story of the day. It's not. Yeah. But things are looking to be like we are going to be regime changing Cuba soon. So, good. They deserve freedom too, right? Yeah. Anyways, Bourbon, good morning, Bourbon, Barry, Jerry, good to see you, Mary, Doreen, Sherry, Rock the Casbah, Electric Eye, Baby Gen X, Lisa, good to see you. Hello, David, good to see you, buddy, good morning. Mary, Hartran, good to see you. Cy Guy, Lisa Finley, good morning to you. Casanova, Phoebe, Eric, Fearless Patriot, good to see you. Bradley, Rafterman, Robbie's, Diane, Carrie, Jennifer, good to see all of you. Hello to everyone over on around the Rumble side. We got Hobo, Dixie, Josie, Kendall, where we got Campbell, Mary, Casey Supertrucker, Mystical Maiden, Jillian. Good to see you. Good morning, Jillian. Hello, Frey. Good to see you, dear. Haven't seen you in a news show for a long time. I think we're doing the day 2 for the greasy poll contest. I'm not sure. We'll see, because we have a thing to watch, a bilateral meeting with Trump. So maybe today, maybe Saturday. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But thanks for being here, dear. Hello to everyone over on Fox. We got Stephanie and Steve. Very good to see you. Good morning. So, quite a long show today, followed by a bilateral meeting. He's got the president of Lebanon in the house. Thank you very much, David Stores. I know that's him. No, that's Stephanie, actually. Thank you very much, Stephanie. Yay, Stephanie. Oh, David Stores, too. Both of you. Thank you very much. Stephanie and David. Thank you, guys. You're awesome. Thank you. Oh, and by the way, today is Donna's birthday. Today is Donna's birthday over on Foxhole, a.k.a. Dondo. Not here right now, but maybe she'll pop in later. Happy birthday to Donna. Congratulations on making it around the sun one more time. Anyways, hello to everyone here. Hello to you. Hello to you guys. Hello, Tiffany. Anyways, good morning to everyone. And thank you again, David and Stephanie, for the donations. And thank you again, big special thank you to Bruce Rice yesterday and the day before, gifting a total of 40 subs in 2 days. That's awesome of you. Thank you so much. Anyways, let's get going. We got a lot to get through. First story of the day. No, that's not the first story of the day. First story of the day. An illegal alien convicted of ending Ruby Garcia. This lady here, who sadly I'm sure her parents voted for this. This guy sued Donald Trump for humiliating him, using his mugshot in a lot of the campaign ads that he put out in 2024. Okay, he's suing for $75.5 million, as well as counseling funds for counseling, and U.S. citizenship. Yeah. Hey, guy, in America, mugshots are public records. Anyone can do whatever they want with it. If you don't want to be part of that, then don't get caught committing crimes. Secondly, okay, look at his smug look. He didn't even care that he killed her. Look at him. Now, secondly, your lawyer's an idiot, and I'll tell you why. If you guys don't know about the story of Michael Avenatti and Stormy Daniels is that lady during Trump's first term that sued him for a bunch of trumped-up charges. It wasn't even legitimate. It was fake accusations. Okay, they couldn't even prove it. Okay, they lost. Okay, now Stormy Daniels is broke. Okay, so you know what Trump's lawyers did? They countersued her lawyer, Michael Avenatti, to cover the legal fees. Yes, because if someone files a frivolous lawsuit against you, you're entitled to do a counter lawsuits for damages to your reputation, loss of wages, legal fees, lawyers' expenses, all sorts of things, okay? So Trump's lawyers countersued Michael Avenatti for $1.2 million. Yeah, that's a lot of money. $1.2 million. Yeah, and guess what? They won. So Michael Avenatti all of a sudden owes $1.2 million to Trump's lawyers. And then he didn't have that money. So you know what he did? He called Nike to tried to blackmail and strong arm them and say, if you don't give me money, I'm going to have Nike investigate. You know what Nike did? Nike called the FBI. And the FBI had Michael Avenatti arrested. That's why he got jail time, by the way. Yeah, Stormy Daniels' lawyer got jail time. Your lawyer will probably go through the same thing. Although I'm sure your lawyer is funded by, George Soros or Neville Singham. So they probably got a lot of money behind them. Probably won't have to be blackmailing Nike for that. But you're an idiot. Yeah, now I get why you need bonus points to get into college. What a dumb torto. Torto. Is it torta or torto? Is that what you call fat dudes? Torto? How are you eating that well in prison? I don't understand. Anyways, he's probably blowing dudes for extra food, huh? Anyways, Ruby Garcia, sorry you're dead. Tell your parents not to vote for this crap going forward. Next story. Trump and A.G. Blanche are filing to denaturalize and deport these two here. Yeah, the usual suspects. These two denaturalize and deport additional U.S. citizens in one go for committing crimes against kids, adult crimes against kids. And they also fraudulently stole $1 million in Medicare, wire fraud, immigration fraud, and drug trafficking. Okay, again, Project Restitution needs to happen. Okay. Even though we're going to be parking them in CCOT, which we shouldn't, we should park them in Eswatini. We gotta diversify, right? We're gonna put the Hispanics in Africa. We gotta put the Africans in CCOT. That's how you make sure people get along. You know, you gotta diversify. We need to do Project Restitution because even us shipping them out to Eswatini, we're still paying for their one hot and a cot. Yeah, they only eat once a day out there. That's good stuff right there. They only need to eat once a day, anyways. Anyway, so they're going to be denaturalized, but again, kicking them out is not good enough. They still owe us $1 million, and I think they need to be forced to work at a wage of $1 an hour until that's paid back. We, after all, do have a lot of industry we need to reshore so that we can sanction China for stealing our election, right? Cotton spinners, we need cotton spinners in America. It would be cost effective if it was $1 an hour. You know, Mike Lindell can have his fabric made in America now instead of China. Anyways, so please, Project Restitution, push that. Next story. Anna Luna just formally requested that Marco Rubio cancel or suspend any and all F1 and J1 student visas from China. Yeah, listen to those happy kids who won't be spied on by their Chinese group mates in school anymore. Or poisoned, by the way, for having boyfriends. You guys remember that story? Yeah, a Chinese foreign exchange student at a college poisoned her group mates, those lab mates. You know how you break out into little groups in a classroom to do projects together? There are 4 in a group. The other 3 were all girls born and raised in America, not necessarily white, but they were born and raised in America. They all had boyfriends, okay? And because the Chinese girl did not, she was jealous and she started poisoning them. She put actually put something in their water. And they are all getting sick regularly. And this is, funny. Yeah. And unfortunately, by the way, because we were so lax with our immigration policies, she probably didn't get deported. She probably working right now, took the job of some hardworking American who would have loved to have that job. No, we're going to have this slant-eyed import worker poison all her coworkers going forward. Probably still happening right now. Yeah. Anyway, so Luna's made that recommendation there. Good stuff. I hope they listen, because holy crap, I still haven't heard any action that we're going to be doing against this election data theft of 220 million records by China. Next story. What is this one? Someone by the name of El Mayo, he's a co-founder of the Sinaloa cartel. His name is Ishmael Zambada Garcia. You gotta pronounce their names properly, they get really mad. Garcia, Garcia, Garcia. This guy got life in prison and had to forfeit $15 billion in drug trafficking profits. 15 billion, guys. I thought they were only making like a single digit billions of dollars. No, this guy made $15 billion trafficking profits. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for collecting that money for us, you know, packaging it nicely for us so that we can take it, buy more missiles and drones, and use them against your compadres soon. Yeah? When now that the World Cup is over and the soccer training camps are dismantling and everyone goes back home, yeah, we can now resume targeting their leaders. Look at that. World Cup just ended and we already got Ishmael Zambada Garcia. Good stuff. Thank you for the $15 billion. These guys did a whole lot better than those Cambodians. Remember that one? We busted a Cambodian slavery. Well, to be fair, it was run by the CCP. They were doing a crypto scams worldwide, scamming all our grandmas for like Bitcoin and stuff like that. $2.1 billion in Bitcoin recovered from that. Thank you for that. We can use that to purchase more tomahawks for your beeholes. Next story. Trump White House confirms that Trump and Rubio terminated a Guatemalan. Oh, got it. Okay, so we were apparently funding transitions in Guatemala and Serbia. How many other countries are we funding transitions for? Yeah, anyways, they terminated the funding for that. You're gonna have to find you're gonna have to find funding for your meds somehow now, right? Oh, these people, once they get off those transition meds, they go crazy. They go crazy. It's either when you get off of them or when you build tolerance to them that they don't really, you know, when you have withdrawals even when you take them, because you need to up your dose constantly. Good luck affording that now. We're going to see a lot of school pew-pews now in Guatemala and Serbia. But it's okay because they have a population crisis issue, right? They have too many babas, right? Because they don't know how to pull out. Next story. Scott Bessent revealed that Biden HHS fired dozens of staff responsible for blocking fraud. Yeah, there were about 50 to 60 people within a federal government that were supposed to look for fraud and block fraud from going out. He fired these people, and that's why you saw a rampant surge in a lot of these frauds, the hospices and Medicare and Medicaid and daycare and feeding our future and all. So that's why you saw a massive surge in it. I hope they catch Kevin S, very long last name, Thai guy, 5'5", probably used to work at Pachanga, might still be there. Okay, Temecula, California, because I guarantee he was engaged in at least one hospice. Okay, one. But I'm almost certain that number ramped up after this happened there. He got the word. He was like, oh yeah, all we got to do is support left-wing radicalism, and we get to do hospice fraud. Oh yeah, I'll buy this condo and just put an old lady in there, and she'll just never die, and I'll get paid forever. I bet you he did that like 80 times over, and I hope he gets caught, because he is an asshole backstabber.
Administration, HHS got rid of about 50 or 60 of the people who were charged with monitoring fraud. And Maria, what's important here is that we are stopping the money from going out. So once the money gets out, trying to retrieve it is very, very difficult. So stopping it at the source here is our goal. And Maria, there's hundreds of billions of dollars here, and this is the start. We are off to a great start. You're seeing the Vice President's task force, unearth things, all across the healthcare system too.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, we've got a spotlight on it, and we're covering it.
Administration.
Good stuff. He's getting better at speaking, huh? Becent. Remember when remember last year? Last year, this is so much dead air and like long pauses because he has to think about what he wants to say. Now it's just bam, bam, bam. It just flows. He's getting better at this. Next story. Bobby Jr. just froze over $1 billion in Medicaid dollars headed to Democrat areas like California and Minnesota because of rampant fraud. Look at that. I'll just read what he says. He says CMS, because some of us can't hear what he says because of the muscular issues. Anyways, CMS is pausing over $1 billion in federal Medicaid payments to California and to Minneapolis because of suspected fraud and non-compliance. That includes over $867 million for California and over $200 million for Minnesota. Good stuff. Good stuff. Let them rot. Let them find their ballot harvesting money some other way. Next story. Oh, this is a continuation. The Trump DOJ extradited a fraudster from Somalia and indicted over 400 fraudsters committing $5 billion in healthcare fraud against taxpayers, according to Andrew Ferguson. This is he right there. I think is he the fraud guy? This the vice fraud guy or whatever? The guy actually doing the work while JD Vance takes the credit for it. Anyways, Kosh Patel says 3 of the top 10 fraudsters have been extradited from Somalia, Philippines, and Turkey. Good stuff. Next story. What is this one? Oh yeah, look at this. The DC U.S. Appeals Court delivers a major blow to Joe Biden, blocking his emergency lawsuit that was going to prevent the release of, remember the 5-hour interview he did with Robert Hur, where he was just clearly not there anymore. And Robert Hur didn't recommend any charges because he's like, oh yeah, he's clearly not there anymore. I'm not going to recommend charges. So are you telling me that he was never competent to be president? Because if that's the case, let me tell you something. If that's the case, every bill he signed after this should not stand. Every bill, every judicial appointment, including Ketanji Brown Jackson, should be invalidated. Okay? If that is the case, holy crap. And by the way, this is, I believe, in his first year that this interview happened. So that would invalidate a lot of things. So the tapes will be released eventually, and then obviously they're gonna have to go through the whole process. One of these congressional hearings is gonna have to put together like a hearing, gather intel, gather opinions and things like that, and evidence, make recommendations to the FBI. The FBI is gonna have to put up a case. I don't know. It's gonna have to go all the way up to the AG, and then hopefully to the Supreme Court, and then they're gonna have to make a ruling about whether he was ever competent to sign anything beyond that interview there. Right? So this could be another vehicle for overturning his actions, right? Next story. There's another bomb. So this, by the way, was brought to attention by Rand Paul. Yeah, Rand Paul, he's gone back to being a libertarian again. He's instead of being a Venezuelan, right? He brought this forward, and he says that the Biden administration blocked CBP officials, that's the Border Patrol people. He blocked the officials from questioning key COVID-19 researcher who facilitated gain-of-function research in Wuhan. Okay, this is a guy, he was on his way back from China, and CBP was told to not question him for anything. Goes by the name of Daszak. Was believed to be hiding something, and his firm got gain-of-function research for bats in Wuhan. Agents wanted to ask Peter Daszak questions about the COVID origins, but were blocked. They were told to stand down. Yeah.
CBP officials from questioning former EcoHealth Alliance president Peter Daszak when he returned from China after investigating the origins of COVID-19. Chief Congressional Correspondent Chad Pergram has the details from Capitol Hill. Hey, Chad.
Ainsley, good morning. Critics of Peter Daszak say he helped facilitate gain-of-function research at the Wuhan lab. Daszak went to China to investigate what sparked the pandemic. He testified to a House panel in 2024.
Is it still your view that all theories suggesting that COVID-19 has a research-related origin are conspiracy theories?
No, we take all theories seriously. We looked at every single theory.
Agents had questions for Dogic when he returned from China in 2021. But a Customs and Border Patrol email obtained by GOP Kentucky Senator Rand Paul says the FBI, quote, requested we do not stop the subject below. Republicans are mad.
Rand Paul's been like a bulldog on a bone on this dadgum thing. And he should be, because everybody else has kind of passed it off, and it shut this country, shut the world down, and we allowed it to happen. And the Biden administration was asleep at the switch, literally and figuratively, on that.
Now, lawmakers believe Dogic had something to hide about the pandemic, especially since his firm received federal money for gain-of-function research on bats in Wuhan.
Approved by Fauci, by the way.
They rolled into the pandemic with an agenda, and they wanted to protect that narrative, and they used whatever means necessary to do it. And so it's no surprise that they would use, the law enforcement enterprise to achieve that and support the narrative.
Now, the documents reveal that the feds flagged Dogic as an extremely high person of interest when he came back from China. Customs officers prepped questions about his research and Wuhan, but were told to stand down.
Well, I'm glad they're still talking about this. But actions, please. Thank you. Next story. Today there's so early in the week, Trump had mentioned that the Smithsonian is pushing a bunch of woke stuff into it's supposed to be a place for like American history, right? They're pushing a bunch of woke stuff and anti-American racist stuff, things like that. And so the Congress brought her in to be grilled today. Yeah, here's freaking Clark Kent here. Representative Gill asking her some tough questions.
History, even if it's not properly carried out, would you say that the goal of history is to be objective?
Thank you, sir, for the question. I think that there are many goals of history, and certainly as you collect, as we do, examine evidence, create scholarship.
Is objectivity one of the goals of history?
We strive to be objective and nonpartisan and not based on any ideology.
So it's one of the goals. Doesn't that seem a little bit concerning? It certainly does to me, because as part of this white supremacy document that your organization has...
A white supremacy document that the Smithsonian put out, guys.
...promoted objectivity as a core and defining aspect of white supremacy culture. Do you think that it's the goal of the Smithsonian Institution to promote white supremacy culture?
Sir, do you mind sharing with me which document?
White supremacy culture right here. This is part of the mass action toolkit that your organization has promoted for several years now under your leadership. Are you promoting a white supremacy culture at the Smithsonian?
She's trying to burn time by like taking notes, and it's like, lady, you should be able to answer these questions. You're the head. You're the director.
Am I promoting a white?
She's playing dumb, trying to burn time now.
Ma'am, is this a difficult question?
No, sir. I'm just thinking about the mass action toolkit. We didn't develop it, but back to your question, no, we're not promoting any ideology.
Does it concern you that your goal is objectivity? One of your goals is objectivity, and your mass action toolkit references objectivity as a defining characteristic of white supremacy culture?
It's not our toolkit.
It is your toolkit. You've been promoting it for quite some time.
We did not come up with the toolkit, sir.
But you've been promoting it.
That's funny. They're like, oh, I didn't do it. I just hired the person who did. Therefore, I am not responsible. Yes, you are. If I hired someone to kill you, I'm still going down for murder.
Used as a reference, I believe, probably in 2019, 2020.
Yes, under your leadership, it has been used as a reference. Is Mickey Mouse racist?
Mickey Mouse is not racist.
It's not racist. According to the Smithsonian Institution, one of your exhibits referenced Mickey Mouse as representing, quote, vestiges of longstanding traditions of blackface minstrelsy. Would you describe that?
Blackface minstrelsy. Holy shit, these guys are insane.
Is racist?
No, the historical tradition.
Disney should sue the Smithsonian. You know?
trajectory of the origins of
that is defamation right there. I bet that hurt their business. I'm sure you have a way of proving damages, Disney, but Disney won't do it because they're on the same team.
Mickey Mouse tied directly.
So Mickey Mouse is rooted in racism. Is that your testimony?
No, sir. It's rooted in minstrelsy.
Minstrelsy. And you don't think that blackface minstrelsy is racist?
It had certain obvious racial overtones that have been well documented.
Do you think that that's problematic, that Mickey Mouse also has those racial overtones?
It's not for me to determine what's problematic. It's determined to me what's accurate.
Is that right?
Yes.
Is it important to be polite?
This one.
Excuse me, sir?
Is it important to be polite?
Yes, sir.
It's also interesting because the same mass action toolkit that your organization has been promoting references politeness as a defining characteristic of white supremacy culture. Ma'am, are you a white supremacist?
No, sir.
You're not.
She's laughing about it.
Can you help me square why your organization says that being polite is part of being a white supremacist?
I'm not exactly familiar with that passage of the Mass Action Toolkit, which is not
I can show you the
one that we
passage right
developed.
here.
I don't, pardon me?
I said I just read you the passage from it.
Now you know why they hire unaccountable women for these jobs. They'll talk their way through anything.
And then your question was, sir?
Oh, it's not my kid's a kid. It's not my fault the kids drowned. I was busy watching Oprah. They should have drowned on a time when I was paying attention to them.
We're going to move on. History.
Anyways, by the way, Timber, I just got a pop of Tim Burchett also had one where you can look him up. But we got to move on. Ooh, I want to add that to the show. Are you kidding me? I want to laugh at South Africa. That's gonna be great. Where's the one about? That's gotta be over here. That's still Russia. That's Canada. What the heck? Where's the one about Africa? Nope. Well, I guess I don't have a. Guess that's our story about Africa for today. Anyways, let's get back over here. We're done here. Lindsey Graham's sister, Darlene Graham, has announced that she is going to be running for Senate. Yeah, she's not only is she temporarily filling in for the rest of his term this year, he's actually going to run. And surprisingly, she said that she's going to be focused on domestic affairs. Yeah, which kind of sucks for us, but that means we're going to lose a neocon, and we need more of those these days. Hopefully, Sean Hannity can convince her to be, huh? We love our wars these days. They're doing real good.
You know, now that you're the senator, between you and your brother, and maybe it's an unfair question, but
no, it's fair, and you know, I understand. I used to see him on the talk shows. I would watch him, and I'd be like, Lindsey, you're just talking about national security all the time, and I understand that's important. Protecting our borders, national security, absolutely. I said, but you know, talk about also what matters to the average person. You know, the price of groceries, the price of gas, health care, insurance, those kind of things. That's what I'm worried about. Mm-hmm. So I think that's important too. He knew it, but he was just always so passionate, and people thought it was about, oh, he just loves war. He didn't love war. He wanted peace.
So I said, Sean, you know, we've been talking to her. Bless her heart. we love.
That's the end of the video. So anywho, so immediately after she announced that she's going to be running for Senate, Nancy Grace, for whatever reason, found it necessary to put out a video saying that she's not. Like, nobody asked, Nancy, just leave. That's it. This is not an airport. You don't need to announce your departure. Okay? She's alleging, there's still things I'm going to be fighting for. You mean the 13,000 and only 13,000 fake Epstein files that you partnered with Gloria Allred to push? You're still not, by the way, still has not talked about the remaining 3.3 million, by the way. Are you digging through those? Are you finding all the establishment people? Did you address at all the Crown Prince of Norway, who was bragging on email with Jeffrey Epstein about, ooh, Ooh, I'm so giddy. We get to sterilize the whole world. Yeah, she's bragging about sterilizing the whole world, guys.
I want to be straight with you.
And Nancy has not at all addressed any of that. What happened? What happened, Nancy? Why aren't you talking about all that? How about the Qatari guy, the Qatari CEO who had Epstein at his house, who had to step down from his organization because he was found to be on the list? How come we're not talking about that? Why are you so fixated on this 13,000? That, by the way, is already out. People dug through them. They're a bunch of nothing burgers. You guys try to demonize Michael Jackson? You got to be kidding me. Why? Because he has a picture next to Epstein? There's no crimes. He didn't commit any crimes. Ooh, let's take attention off of our important people by demonizing Michael Jackson, of all people. Good Lord.
I want to be straight with you. I'm not running for the U.S. Senate. Not because I'm backing down from a fight, but because the one I'm already in matters right now.
No, it's because you came in third running for governor and nobody wants you around.
The law is meant to protect me and
you're not going to get a Trump endorsement after chumming up with Gloria Allred, a Clinton lawyer. Of all people. Holy shit.
The law is meant to protect me and other women failed us, and I won't stop until that changes. So I'm not chasing another title.
I'm rebranding myself because I'm a failed politician.
I'm chasing justice. Justice for me, justice for other women, and justice for every little girl who was told to stay silent.
The music overlay is hilarious. Lady, start with the Epstein files. Okay, 3.3 million already released. All you got to do is read it and start making. How about this? The video that you made here with a nice musical overlay and whatever, the editor you hired. Why don't you make one calling out one by one every day, one by one, call out everyone you find on that list? Why? Because they're your friends? Is that what the reason why? They're your buddies? Huh?
That's where my focus is today. And that's where it's going to stay.
Sherry says, like Frank said, not an airport. You don't have to announce your departure. I actually got that from you, by the way. I reviewed the chats after the show, and I got that from you. I was like, that's a good one. I'm going to use it. Sherry, 2 points for Sherry. Thank you, dear.
Serving South Carolina has been the honor of my life, and I will continue to voice our values everywhere I can. I'm even going to shitpost from time to time because someone has to call out the dumbasses.
I'm still waiting for that, by the way. You could start with the 3.3 million Epstein files that came out that even CoffeeZilla won't talk about for some reason.
Because if we don't, we as a country will be gone. I love you. I want to thank you for the thousands of calls and text messages and offers to help in a race like this. And I want to say God bless you. Serving you has been the honor of my life, and I will never forget it.
Yeah. Serving you is the honor of my life, yeah. I've got 6 burner phones and implants, yeah. Fun fact, those are fun facts, by the way. Next story. Keith Ellis sparks alarm as he apparently reveals his party's scheme to steal the midterm elections. Yes, I think this will happen. I think we need to go all out in terms of securing our election. If they're not going to pass the SAVE Act, you need to be deploying election monitors, ICE agents, National Guard at polling centers in areas known for cheating. Okay? Detroit, Atlanta, you know, all the usual places. Anyways, he says here, did Minnesota AG Ellison just admit the Democrats are giving people citizenship for votes?
Let me tell you, there's a whole lot of people who were not 18 years old in the last election. There's a
he just admitted that minors are voting. Oh, look at that. It sounds like we need to start handing out guns to minors now, you know, to fight this cheating here, right? The minors will do it. They'll do anything. They'll do anything for a lollipop, and that's why they go after them.
A whole lot of people who were not naturalized citizens in the last election. There's a whole lot of people who sat it out because of whatever reason in the last election. But you know what? We gonna get them all this election.
Well, we gonna get them all this election. We go and toss them with Wendy's kids meals, with the Sonic the Hedgehog kids meals. Yeah, they did a collab. Wendy's did a collaboration with Sega for Sonic the Hedgehog. And they're a combination of toys as well as cards, like, you know, like magic cards. but like collectible Sonic the Hedgehog cards. Yeah. Started yesterday. Hurry up before they run out. Sorry. Off to Zoran Mamdani. Okay, so even Andrew Cuomo is stepping forward and denouncing socialism. They're calling it that because communism is illegal in America. But it's pretty much the same thing.
There is no such thing as free. Someone always pays. This is a dream. This is nirvana. This is utopia. And they're selling to young people who are buying it. But it's not going to work. And the socialist movement is the best thing the Republicans have going for them.
Yeah. Yep. He says socialism is the best thing Republicans have going for us. Yeah, because they are supporting a repeatedly failed idea. That's not real socialism. Oh, yes, it is. Venezuela. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yes, it was, I should say. Next story. Van Jones went on CNN to speak down on communism and Zoran Mamdani. Yeah. He says governors and senators are privately calling him panicking about the rise of communism in their party. Yeah. We told you all of this years ago. Okay? But you were the ones who wanted to do jab mandates. You were the ones who wanted to censor everyone. You were the ones who wanted to deplatform everyone. You're the ones who wanted to debank everyone. Okay? You all pushed this shit. And now that that wheel is in motion, it's still being used. And a fun fact, by the way, Democrats, death threats are supposed to be part of free speech, but you all said that that's illegal. So now, when your little anti-ICE protesters, when your little Antifa people call for death among people, now it's illegal. Oh, great. Now we can't do that either. Now. And you guys, I believe you guys also normalized arresting people who disagree with you. So now there's precedence for that, there's legal precedence for that now. And now here they're like, oh, communism's bad. Communism's bad. That's because they're not in control. Okay? You notice there aren't any more school shootings? Yeah, because they need their guns now, all of a sudden. So they don't want to give you a reason to ban any of this stuff.
Van, your post struck a nerve, right? We saw it strike a nerve on Fox News. I saw it strike a nerve among many on the left. Yes. Okay, for whom some of those things you mentioned have become passionate rallying calls, right?
Yeah.
But you knew it was gonna. You didn't, Van Jones doesn't walk into a moment like this being like,
okay, we're not. Are you gonna talk about anything? Next story. Holy shit. Zoran Mamdani said that he wants to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu when he comes to town to the UN. Okay. Trump stated Benjamin Netanyahu will not be arrested in any way, shape, or form while in the US of America. He is fighting against the Islamic Republic of Iran, which recently killed 52,000 innocent protesters and has spent the last 47 years killing American soldiers and others. The only ones that should be arrested are the people that led Iran into this unprecedented spiral of death and destruction, something that should have been dealt with years ago by previous presidents. Okay, I would also add this bullshit International Criminal Court, okay, has done zero arrests involving brown people killing white people and raping white people in Europe. You don't have a leg to stand on, okay? Stop talking to us about, war crimes and shit. You don't even prosecute basic crime in your own countries. But you want to go to another war-torn area to a country where the guy's just defending himself of all things. They're firing rockets into his house and he's not allowed to defend himself? Stupid shit. They only selectively prosecute people. By the way, that's what communists do. Okay, so Trump responded to that. Mamdani, by the way, has doubled down and said he is going to.
Comes to Benjamin Netanyahu, we're speaking about someone who's the subject of an international criminal court arrest warrant, and he's the subject of this arrest warrant for alleged crimes against humanity, for war crimes, and he's the architect of the genocide against.
Hey, how come you're not arresting Lebanon for firing all them rockets into civilian territory in Israel? Hey, how about that International Criminal Court? What about all the slavery in China that you ignore? you ethical people.
Palestinians in Gaza as Israel's prime minister. These are not facts of my personal assessment. They are facts of public record. And I believe that when someone is charged with an international criminal court warrant, it's something that should be taken seriously, whether it's Benjamin Netanyahu or it's Vladimir Putin or whomever else. What I've also made clear.
It's funny when he tries to do a serious speech, because he keeps wanting to do that smirk, that, you know, but that like that. He keeps wanting to do that, but he knows he's not supposed to because it's a serious subject, right? And you can see him almost try to like hold back his smile and that smirk. You know, watch.
Is that my administration will follow all applicable local laws. That is our commitment. That is something that we will follow through on when it comes to an adherence to local law. And that's all I have to add.
Right there.
And now we're going to go to
He did it. Hey, the smirk. Yay. Everyone believes you now. They're all on your side because you're optimistic and positive. Anyway, so there's that. What else is there? Eric Adams rips Ugandan Mayor Mamdani for acting like he can arrest Netanyahu.
Your reaction to that?
Well, first of all, it doesn't take Corporation Counsel weeks and months to tell him he has no legal means. He knows that. And did he speak with the police commissioner? Because who's going to actually do the arrest? Or is he in partnership with the federal authorities? And so we have to think about how
this may very well be our blue helmet moment, guys. Imagine him bringing in the UN Army with those blue helmets in and having them do it. Yeah.
Rhetoric is, first of all, is bad to do, but it's also dangerous for Americans abroad. You know,
72 Marsh says Zionism is un-American as it puts Israel above and before the U.S. Well, to be fair, he's the Israeli president, not the American president, right? So it's like you're shaming him for like defending his own country. You know what else though? The rest of the world, they say that about Donald Trump, because he's trying to balance trade and make trade fair and make all the trade balanced. And they're like, no, you're a bad president. You're too much for America. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So he's not allowed to do good things for America. That makes him a racist? I guess that's what they're saying about him. He's eating missiles on a regular basis. Holy crap.
Since being out of office, I've traveled to different countries. You cannot say...
Boy, things change when a group of anti-Semites get me banned from Twitter, huh? Huh? Any regrets? Any regrets?
The signal that right here in America, we're not going to respect a sovereign leader of a country, and you're going to talk about as a local mayor arresting the individual. This is just bad to even put that statement out.
You know, over the course of the last couple of decades, I've heard people say that they don't think that the Iranian president should be allowed to speak at the UN. But time in and time out, the Iranian president comes. In fact, last time he was here, Pezeshkian, I interviewed him, and he spoke at the UN. I don't hear... 4 months later, the Iranian government slaughtered tens of thousands of people in the street.
You know what you should do, Mr. President? You should relocate the UN to, like, somewhere no one wants to be, you know? Like, right next to, like, a cattle farm where it just smells awful. You know what I mean? That way, every time they have a meeting, they're like, yeah, I don't want to go.
I don't hear Mayor Mamdani.
See, 72 Marshall says, why does Trump serve Israel? He doesn't. This is our war. See, you keep calling it Israel's war. First of all, we started it, okay? And we started it because, first of all, they registered over 100,000 Yulkova ballots in America and voted in our elections. They stole the 2020 elections, invited 20 million Hispanic people to come in, rob, rape, and pillage our people, and you think it's Israel's war? It's our war. Iran, oh, and by the way, fun fact, Iran has been selling cheap oil to China, which bolstered their economy so they make more money, in which they use to fund ballot harvesters, to give to Neville Singham, to give to Code Pink, to fund more riots in America. These are acts of war that they do to us. And you keep saying that this is Israel's war. They got a question for you. Did they steal Israel's election? They didn't, right? So this is absolutely our war. Yeah. Anyways, I think that's enough of you. We're going to go ahead and get rid of you because, again, you're clearly paid by the CCP to spread anti-Israeli propaganda Fun fact, they're the ones behind all the funding for that, by the way. Look around, look around at all the overly aggressive people, okay, who hate Jews, okay? They also, by the way, hate Zelensky and Ukraine. Yeah. And they're generally, generally not on our side of a lot of this stuff. Now, I got news for you. Trump gave the patents to the Patriot defense missiles to Zelensky, not Putin, okay? They're not our allies. They're the ones funding all this crap. You guys got that? Yeah. Anyways. Oh, what'd you get? Life. Wow, you got life. That wheel hates you, buddy. Anyways. Have fun. Have fun making a new count. I don't get... Here's what I don't understand. Why don't you guys go to, like, bigger channels and then tell them how awful the NPC show is? Huh. Just be like, hey, this guy here supports Zionism. I do, because I hate people who are against it. I'm not even a Zionist. But I will gladly watch the rest of the world crumble. You see? Because the rest of the world treats America like shit. They steal from us. They call us racist. They call us selfish and greedy because we work hard and have all this wealth. Meanwhile, they're busy having 30, 40 kids per family. No wonder why they're broke. Oh, the poor Americans stole all the money and I don't have enough to feed my 30 kids. They're racist. They're white supremacists. Yeah. You take a GDP of a country, okay? Divide that by all the people. That's why you're poor, okay? Holy shit. Mexico's got quite a GDP, but guess what? They don't know how to pull out. So they got too many people. Brazil, same shit, too many people. Okay? That's why you're poor. Americans breed responsibly. 2, 3 kids, maybe 4, Enough to where the kids have everything that they need and want. Meanwhile, you guys are like, oh, I forgot to pull out last night. You're all gonna have to eat a little less because we're having another bobby. Telling you, there's no planning. And the rest of the world should just be villagers. Okay? Seriously. We'll make a villager Africa that can mine our cobalt. We can make villager Mexico that can grow our agriculture. We can make villager China. They can assemble our refrigerators or whatever. Yeah. We don't need the rest of the world should just go back to being villagers. You don't have it to be who we are. Okay. You don't. You absolutely don't. You're not fit. You're not qualified for it. The only thing you've been successful in doing in terms of this first world shit is the stuff you copied from us. Okay? And all the Europeans, by the way. Yeah, remember how they used to be about 100 years ago before the Islamists took over? Next story. Scott Bessent drops a chilling line in the Iranian regime. They said that they froze $130 million in crypto wallets. Ew, a digital currency that is alleged to be unhackable. Yeah, but they somehow managed to do it. I'm telling you guys know what it takes to hack Bitcoin? All you need is quantum computing, okay? And guess who sells quantum computers? There's a company called D-Wave, I believe, or is it D-Wave? I think it's D-Wave. It's in Canada. They've had quantum computers for about 10 years now. None fast enough to hack Bitcoin yet. But that was 10 years ago, right? IBM also was up to, I forgot how many qubits they were up to, but you need I think a 46 qubit quantum computer, okay? And I believe we should have been there years ago. But I'm going to assume that the government stepped in and says, hey, Intel, we're going to forcefully buy that from you so you don't sell it because we want that and no one else can have it. Would not be difficult to have a quantum computer simultaneously with our massive internet that we have, fast lightning internet we have today. Would not be impossible for our quantum computer to simultaneously modify the ledger of every Bitcoin mining machine in the world within 10 minutes to edit the outcome. Okay? Guarantee you they can already hack Bitcoin. The government can anyways, not the people. We don't have any qubit. We don't have a 48 qubit quantum computer. We don't have liquid nitrogen for such a computer like that. Anyways, that's very interesting, huh?
most, if not all, of their capability to rebuild, and then we moved on to what we call economic fury, and that's a 1-2 punch. It's the blockade, and then what we're doing at Treasury, and we are tracking these accounts all over the world. We froze a crypto wallet linked to the IRGC the other day, about $130 million. We have found the money man for the Ayatollah, and we are tracking the Ayatollah's properties around the world. We hope to soon be able to print his $100 million plus properties and show the addresses. And we're preserving this money for the American people, but most of all, we are constricting the regime. Their currency has collapsed. It is at an all-time low versus the dollar. It's in free fall. And we think the inflation rate is upwards of 180% in our...
Wow. Next story. Oh, this here is Pickaxe Mountain. Yeah, it has been talk of the town lately because it is found to be the place, the location where, you remember when we were gonna bomb, when we bombed the those 3 nuclear facilities? Apparently they knew about it, and I believe we gave them the heads up, and we said, hey, we're gonna bomb those. So you might want to get your nuclear materials out of there. We're not gonna let you enrich anymore, right? Well, they moved it here to Pickaxe Mountain, and so the reason why we probably gave them the heads up is because if we bomb it and that dust gets all over the place, ooh, it's gonna be a little stinky for a while, right? Radioactively stinky, and it is believed that this is where they moved it. They moved it to Pickaxe Mountain, and now ever since Iran threatened to assassinate Trump. Trump's now, this is from today, by the way, says that they're gonna bomb Pickaxe Mountain, and I don't think they have enough time to get all that stuff out of there.
They may have. We don't have it on record. All we do is read the fake news. We see the news is so wrong so many times. So, maybe this one they have right, but it's okay. It doesn't mean anything unless they have the material. You're talking about the centrifuges. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything unless they have the material. They don't have. We follow the material. That's where the action is, and we'll be hitting that area probably pretty soon. And there's not a thing they can do about it. Normally I wouldn't say that. If I thought they could do something about it, I would never say that. But we'll be hitting that area pretty soon, and very heavily.
Pretty soon. Yeah, that's a lot of nuclear material to be moving out. And we just stated that we're going to be using thousands of uranium enrichment centrifuges were relocated by Iran into tunnels deep beneath Pickaxe Mountain last fall, according to Israeli intelligence. This is from Wall Street Journal, by the way, so take it with a grain of salt. But we do have corroboration from Trump that there is some interest in that mountain there. Next story. Cuba is the talk of the town this week. Yeah, Marco Rubio released a big report yesterday. I didn't dig through it because that's not what I do. I wait for other people to do it and then I summarize it for you guys. Anyways, there are apparently leftist groups that are very connected to the Cuban communist regime. They even called for agitated resistance and published the location of ICE facilities. These organizations include Code Pink, founded and funded by Neville Singham, who currently lives in Shanghai, China. ICAP, I never heard of that. The People's Forum, never heard of that. The DSA, oh, Cuba funds the Democrat Socialists of America, right? Why don't you guys call yourself the Democrat Communists of America? Oh, it's because it's illegal, so you have to call yourself socialists. Also, National Lawyers Guild, as well as a national network on Cuba. So Rubio exposed the American leftists for working with Cuban regime to cause socialism in America.
Groups.
Yeah.
Code Pink, ICAP, the People's Forum, Democratic Socialists of America, National Lawyers Guild.
Some war updates. The B-1 bombers just took off from the UK. Interesting, because those are not stealth, which means we probably got all their radar again.
National network on Cuba. It's one thing to say that the Cuban regime poses a national security threat to the United States, something you and the Secretary say all the time. It is another to say they're actually interfering or trying to interfere in the U.S. political system.
Well, the National Network on Cuba, for example, issued a rapid response plan calling for agitation and resistance, publishing the location of ICE facilities, of military installations. That gives one powerful example of this network. We also see from Cuban-linked groups, we're seeing fomentation of protests and other violent activity. And then we see other Cuban-linked groups then bail those that are in jail for violent activity, bail them out of prison to release them back onto American streets. This report details a decades-long influence and espionage campaign that continues to this day and really is an untold story. It's a story where we hear bits and pieces here and there, but presents this as the network that it is, linked to the Cuban regime, both ideologically through logistical support and as the nexus, the node of a network of far-left extremism that is undermining the security of the United States of America.
And groups.
Yeah. So there's a whole lot more, guys. Also, Rubio's bombshell report is sending shockwaves. He exposed that communist Cuba pushed leftist activists in the U.S. to carry out nationwide action. Okay, we know what that means. Not peaceful protest, action. Also, these are targeted against U.S. bases and ICE facilities. Remember, we've seen Coast Guards. Remember that truck that someone rented, a Penske truck, and tried to crash it into the Coast Guard barrier, and it got lit up. Remember that? And then also we've seen all the ICE facility raids and riots. We've seen all that.
The State Department on Monday warns about the left-wing activists with deep ties to Cuba planning what they call nationwide actions against U.S. bases and ICE facilities. The warning came the same day that authorities arrested the Army veteran for allegedly targeting ICE, lighting a fire and setting off fireworks outside a Manhattan federal building. Police later finding multiple axes, knives, and machetes, and what appeared to be 2 pellet guns along with a manifesto. Let's bring in Paul Morrow, Fox News contributor, former head of counterterrorism operations for New York City. Paul, good to see you, State Department.
Yeah. Oh, this is more about Cuba. Cuba is a talk of the town today. This is from Bad Kitty Unleashed. Cuba sleeper agents are poised to wage war in California and put U.S. on high alert. A map of their top target emerges. This is from the report that Rubio put out. The plan outlines coordinated nationwide actions within 24 hours if there is an imminent threat or U.S. military move against Cuba. So in other words, if our military moves on Cuba, they're going to do terrorist attacks in America on our soil. Yeah. The national. By the way, regardless of whether you believe this report or not, this is a very clear indication that we will be regime changing on them very soon. Okay. The National Network on Cuba, which created the rapid response. And by the way, if you disagree with this, go fight for Cuba. Go ahead. We look forward to seeing your terrorist attacks across this country in the coming years. Okay? The National Network on Cuba, which created the Rapid Response Plan, brings together over 50 groups, including the Democrat Socialists of America, Communist Party USA, and Code Pink. Organizers would focus on military bases, recruitment offices, federal buildings, ICE facilities, and even sports arenas during big events. And now you know why we didn't move in on them during the World Cup. We're not allowing an international incident here. If there's going to be a terrorist attack, we're certainly not going to make our visitors and our guests victims. So this is according to. Let me retweet this. This is a great follow, by the way. Jillian sent me this. Bad Kitty Unleashed. The handle is Pepe's grandma. Next story. Here's a map on the Cuba and where their funding comes from. Yeah, Cuba was never acting alone. Havana functioned as the Western Hemisphere command node inside a much larger global infrastructure. We saw this when Maduro was willing to step down and Cuba said, no, you stay in power because we say so. Yep, and then we kidnapped him. Rodriguez is not being cooperative, so Russia sets off the Poseidon nuclear missile off the coast of Caracas, causes a massive earthquake, and then all the Chinese buildings collapses. Yeah. So Moscow supplies strategic depth, intelligence, tradecraft, and military alignment. Beijing supplied technology, surveillance, communications, infrastructure, and geopolitical protection. Ha! That didn't work very well. We got your number one. Yeah. Remember those radars that didn't work? That's hilarious. Tehran Iran here. Again, our war, guy, not Israel's war, our war. Tehran expanded the militant energy and sanctions evasion corridors. Caracas supplied oil territory, state infrastructure, and regional sustainment. Oh, this is totally Israel's war. Yeah, they totally bought out a country right next to Israel to screw with them, and that's why this is Israel's war. No, it's clearly our war. We still got to get Russia. We still got to get China. We still got to get Colombia. We still got to get Nicaragua. You think we're stopping at Iran? No. That 20-year-old roadmap given to General Wesley Clark is outdated. Okay, we have a much bigger problem now. We have a big problem in Africa. We have a big problem in Southeast Asia. We have a big problem in South America. Anyway, City of London supplied another essential layer. What is City of London? I guess it's some organization or whatever. Anyways, there's a lot to go through. We're running real late here, so let's go ahead. I'll retweet that if you want to see it. But we've got Russia, China, Venezuela, Iran, and City of London. What is City of London? Financial security, capital routing, offshore structures, legal shielding, banking access, insurance, and trade finance. Are they talking about actual City of London? Or are they talking about an organization called City of London? If it's actually City of London, that makes a lot of sense, because remember that British trans lady named Carrie Seal, who used to be in this chat, who I banned at some point? Yeah, she's from London. Anyways, let's get going. Next story. Department of State posted this. Matt Whitlock says, "I'm so glad that the State Department has created this direct line between the communist government of Cuba and left-wing activity in America."
To the State Department today, they published a bombshell report outlining how Cuba, I've known a lot about this, but the fact that it's inside this official report from Secretary of State Marco Rubio is really important. Cuba has spent decades infiltrating the United States. They've sponsored more than 50 groups linked to the national network on Cuba, including the DSA, Communist Party USA, Code Pink. You spend a lot of time tracking these groups and their influence from foreign actors who are adversaries of the United States. What are your thoughts about that report and your kind of top lines of what they found?
For one thing, I think it's so valuable to be able to pull these strings. I'm so glad that the State Department has created this direct line between the communist government of Cuba and left-wing activity in America. We've seen it from China. We've seen it from the Chinese Communist Party. We've seen it now from Cuba. And it's also important to understand that connection there. The fact that Cuba has given harbor to our adversaries like Iran, China, and Russia to then impact the United States. It's why President Trump has made so much of his foreign policy about protecting our hemisphere from letting those threats get inside. And I hope the State Department and the rest of the Trump administration will continue to identify those foreign funding threats that are working against our interests here at home. And there's a lot more to come on that, both from the State Department and from a number of other major reports coming this week that I think will be incredibly valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's that. What is this one? Let's go back real quick. Hold on. Let me go, because something just popped up. We were just talking about Nicaragua, and this just popped up. Marco Rubio condemns Nicaragua's leader for abolishing elections. That they haven't done it yet, but they're vowing to. So another country to a regime change there. Yeah. Next story. You know what's funny? You know what brought my attention to Nicaragua? A story I covered 3 years ago. Talking about how the Cuban Missile Crisis isn't even a crisis anymore because missiles have a longer range now, and Nicaragua has already allowed China to put military in their country. So I've always remembered that for a reason, because I mispronounced this country's name in elementary school and got in trouble for it. Yeah.
The N-word.
I got in trouble for that. But anyways. Yeah, so that's interesting that this is actually coming to light now. Yeah, good stuff. Anyway, so yeah, it looks like they're still on the list, huh? Trump is about to hit a dozen countries with new tariffs. Yes, the 10%, remember the 10% global tariffs? That's about to expire on Friday, okay? He is now going to, instead of tariffing everyone, he's focusing on countries that continue to not have slave labor, but even purchase products from slave-made products, okay? So, by the way, this targets a lot of our allies. Because even though we were like, hey, we're not going to buy anything from the Xinjiang region, we've already, I don't know if you're aware of that, but we sanctioned we blocked American companies from buying materials from the Xinjiang region because that's where the slaves are. And, all the textiles and whatnot. And so now we're pressuring other countries too. Good stuff. Good. That's how you do it. That's how you pressure China into bankruptcy. Okay, so that they can't afford to buy our farmland next to military bases, so that they can't afford ballot harvesting, so that they can't afford to pay Neville Singham and Code Pink. So he says here, instead of letting the lapse, Trump is preparing a new round of tariffs. 60 countries. Wow. The investigation found that all 60 countries, including China, the EU, Japan, Canada, Mexico, failed to properly ban imported goods made using forced labor elsewhere in their supply chain. Countries with at least a partial ban would face a 10% tariffs. Everyone else would get 12.5%. So, good stuff. Good stuff here. Look at that. Look at that, blackies. White people still fighting to end slavery. I know you don't care because these slaves are not black, but they are still slaves. Still crickets out of you guys, though, huh? Any outrage at all in Libya? They're selling blackies right now, but not a single Charlemagne hasn't even talked about it. Next story. Updates on the new Qatari jets that Trump has been using. This is actually going to be out of commission for about a month. He's going to go back to using the original Air Force One, and this is going to be upgraded for security reasons. Especially after the recent attempted assassination against Trump by Iran over Turkish airspace. So they're going to take this out of commission. It's going to be upgraded. I say just never fly in it ever again. Why use this? Hey, Boeing, I had a question. How come the new one is so delayed? Are you delaying it so that the security features will be unavailable for Trump? What's going on? iRule says Rubio for president next. I don't trust VP. You're in the right place. We all are on Camp Rubio here. Despite how critical I am of the Hispanic community, Rubio will be a Hispanic president that all Hispanics can be very proud to have. Unlike Obama, right? Oh, they're still bowing their heads on that one. They still got keep their nose down about that one. Like, oh crap, we elected a radical Islamist who gave Iran the means to build nuclear weapons. Holy shit, I can't believe the black community did that. Yeah, you did. You did that. And that's why we have to bomb Iran today. Because of your stupid votes, blacks. Next story. Air France has suspended all flights to and from Saudi Arabia and the UAE because of all the hoorah that has been going on out there. Yeah, suspended until at least the end of the week, the 24th. And then no flights to Dubai until the 27th. This will be extended because the war we haven't slowed down at all. They're still firing rockets at everyone. I didn't include this in the story, but yeah, Kuwait's already summons the Iranian envoy. They're gonna try to talk it out or whatever. And I'm like, these guys, you're not the kind of people you can talk out of things. They're terrorists. You have to obliterate them. Next story. President Trump indicates if the Houthis are trying to block the Red Sea, that he will take care of it. We're going to take care of that as well. Yeah. Is there oil in that area that we can, sell to compensate for our expenses? I hope so. I hope we have Karg Island already,
Blockade of the Red Sea by the Houthi rebels, opening up another front in the war.
See what happens. So far, it hasn't happened. Might happen. But we take care of things. If something like that happens, we take care of it. We've done that with the Houthis before, and we haven't heard from them in a while since we did what we did originally. That was about 45 days of very powerful action we took against the Houthis. And we've had no problem with the Houthis. They've had no problem with us for a long period of time, including during this conflict. I think that if there is something like that, we'll just have to take care of business.
Blockade of the Red Sea.
Give me a second. Okay, that's ready to go. All right. Next story. The U.S. issues worldwide caution alert for citizens over Mideast tensions. Yeah, so they did this a couple days ago because of the accelerated conflict. And yesterday, a man stabbed 2 American tourists in Greece. Yeah, so they were right about this thing ramping up. People are mad at us. Hey, we get the paycheck from Russia and China, and they get the money from selling cheap Iranian oil, and you're hurting my paycheck. Stab, stab, American citizens. Yeah, because again, incompetent people need to be dependent on the CCP for money instead of, working.
Good morning, Rachel. 2 American tourists have been stabbed near the Acropolis in Athens. This happened just after the gates opened at 8 a.m. local time. It's a Greek-American couple, a 53-year-old man and a 48-year-old woman. The man is understood to have lost a lot of blood with wounds to his arm, and the woman sustained minor leg injuries, but both are in a stable condition in the hospital. This happened right outside the Acropolis Museum. It's an area crowded with early morning tour groups. This is Greece's top tourist attraction, and it was open early this morning because of the heat wave. Police say the suspect had been out in the street brandishing a knife, and he is now in custody. He's described as a 60-year-old man with severe psychological problems.
What color was he? Was his name Mohammed? Come on, guy. Oh, 60-year-old man from Greece. Anyways, give me 1 second. This just popped up, and it's kind of good news. Trump wins in court. A Second Circuit Court overturns an activist judge's ruling that freed, remember that Kilmar Garcia guy, the head of MS-13? A judge made a ruling to free him, and this ruling has overturned that. He's been free. Are we going to rearrest him or what? What are we doing here? I hope we rearrest him. That'd be great. This one is interesting. Mikey Sherrill, the governor of New Jersey, just admitted that there was a glitch in their DMV system that automatically registered non-citizens to vote. Yeah. Oh, a glitch, an accident. Yeah. You guys probably want to, I'm telling you, the RNC, you need to sue the coder, whatever company coded this software there, you need to sue them for many millions of dollars for this error. Because quite frankly, a lot of people are dead because of this Democrat control of New Jersey. Next story. Lebanon's army is beginning to take over the southern area where Israel has been trying to maintain, because that is where a lot of the rockets are being fired from into Jerusalem. So, by the way, Lebanon's president is in the house. Trump just did a bilateral meeting with them. We're going to watch that at the end of the show. Next story. President Trump is he floated the idea of Lebanon joining the Abraham Accords. Look at that. Joining peace deals. They just got to get rid of Hezbollah.
And the Abraham Accords. Lebanon still enforces a 1955 law criminalizing contact with Israel for over 70 years. You previously stated you would push Lebanon on this issue. And there is some people still going to prison last month. So did you raise it you will raise it with President Trump today?
The Abraham Accords have been, I think, a tremendous success. I think you're going to see a lot of countries joining pretty soon. As you know, we have our original group, and it's so successful for them. Economically successful. It's been that nobody left, even during this time of conflict. So, no, I think Lebanon has a very important place.
Yeah. Next story. A Ukrainian attack drone has struck Russia. Yeah, they hit a bunch of MiG-29s. Yeah, destroyed the remainder of their Air Force. You guys, the MiG-29 is a 50-year-old jet that they're still using. Yeah. Holy crap. There it goes. It's going to get popped off. Bam. Gone. You guys are getting rocked, Russia. Holy crap. You should have took my advice when I said just give up the little pocket of the Donbass, call it a day, and do a peace deal. Now you're losing Crimea, you're going to lose the Donbass, and you might even lose territory up to Moscow. Holy shit. Why don't you guys, how come you guys are taking notes on what I say instead of sending Russian trolls to tell me how ill-advised I am? You're clearly losing. Next story. Oh, look at this. Russia's sulking. Russian warships in the English Channel are doing live fire exercises. Yeah. Live fire exercises on someone else's territorial water. Yeah, this is how much they're panicking right now. They're trying so hard to look tough. Like, we're firing missiles in your area and bullets. You're not mess with us. With Russia, bear. Anyways, yeah, so they're trying to look tough here. That's the only rational explanation as to why the hell they would do something like this. You've already got enough problems as it is. Do you really want to start another war in another front here? Holy shit. What a bunch of brats, huh? Does it remind you of anyone? Yeah, I remember Iran doing the same thing just like a couple months ago. Actually, they're doing it this week. Firing rockets at everyone who had nothing to do with this war. Anyways. Oh, look how tough they are. Next story. Kash Patel is planning to visit Russia later this year. Now, this is not Marco Rubio. Okay, this is Kash Patel. Kash Patel is FBI, which means they're going after scammers and hackers. Yeah, so that's going to be very interesting to see there. Obviously, if they don't comply and help them arrest these people who are scamming Americans and hacking our pipelines and whatnot, then there's going to be an issue. There's going to be some probably new sanctions, right? Yeah. This might also very well have to do with the archive.org. Yeah, because that's where you go to pirate movies, right? Yeah, the Russians, they upload everything. You know what I found on is it vk.ru? I found a recording of Viva Elvis, the Cirque du Soleil show about Elvis in Las Vegas. And by the way, it is rare, unless Cirque du Soleil puts it out themselves, it is rare to find a Cirque du Soleil show, the whole show, floating digitally, because they want you to go watch it live. That's how they make their money, right? But this is available on vk.ru. It's like their YouTube or whatever. And I was surprised to find it. We watched it last night over on Foxhole. Anyways, Kash Patel's going there. That's from Politico. And I wonder what it's about. Next story. Trump imposed a 50% additional tariff on Canada, not on all goods, but on a select amount of goods. One was because of the little smog that they keep letting come to America. Like, hey, if you want to torch your own natural environment, at least keep your smog to yourself. Yeah. No, they're polluting the world. They polluted the World Cup. That looks bad. That makes us look bad. Now we look like a bunch of polluters, huh? When it wasn't us, it was the eco-friendly green solar panel loving country called Canada that did it. Anyways. Also, it's because of unfair treatment over U.S. autos, alcohol, and a variety of dairy products. Yes, they tariff our dairy products like 250%. Meanwhile, they pay their dairy farmers to discard an X amount of dairy that they produce to keep the prices propped up, to make life miserable for Canadians, to make it insufferable, because they don't want white Canadians to have kids with an abundance of food. They only want the ones that they give free money to be able to afford milk. Yeah. So yeah, Canada, a bunch of weird policies out of there. Next story. More than 160,000 people have fled South Africa due to anti-migrant unrest. That is hilarious. That's the Chinese that they're driving out, by the way. That's funny. So we're rescuing the white farmers. The Chinese workers are leaving. You've got no one else to make stuff in your country anymore. Guys, your demographic is not known for working hard. Why would you kick out the Chinese workers? Because you want to be less efficient? You want your business to be less profitable? That is hilarious. Yeah, they're mad, guys, because they don't have enough money. So they kick out all the workers, and they're just like, oh, man, we got to work for the money? We just wanted to kick them out and take the money that they were going to make. We can't do that? No? We can't just take the chinks, kick them out, take their paychecks. We need to actually do work. Shit, you know? Yeah. Good job, Africa. You're collapsing real fast. Love it. Love watching it. Next story. Trump says he talked to the new UK Prime Minister. And he says, Trump says, I had a very good conversation with the new Prime Minister of the UK, Annie Burnham. We discussed many subjects, including the outstanding relationship we have had with the UK. We will be meeting in the not too distant future for topics of mutual interest. The Prime Minister has got a big job ahead of him, but he will be able to do it. And of course, the USA will be there to help. We discussed North Sea oil trade and military alliance, demining of the Hormuz Strait, and many other topics. The call was interesting and went very well. I wish the Prime Minister Burnham good luck. So yeah, North Sea oil. That's the the offshore drilling that they banned. And then as a result, the Scots lost tons of jobs as a result of that. It looks like that might be coming back. Because again, Russia's not going to stop unless we bring oil down to like $17. Next story. This is a guy, I believe he's in the Spanish soccer team. They won. And he actually got to meet Donald Trump. And he was spotted at the victory parade wearing a Make Spain Great Again hat. Oh, look at that. Yeah, unfortunately, he'd probably be arrested for this because this is Spain and they don't allow free expression out there. So, good stuff. Thank you for wearing the hat. Cool hat, but boy, your country sucks right now. You got a lot of Africans to kick out, man. Anyways, we still have the Trump has a bilateral meeting with the president of Lebanon to watch, and then we'll move on over to Rumble. We got an episode of Asian Women Are Awful. And then also followed by an episode of Joshua involving Cuba, by the way. Cuba spreading radical leftism, third worldism in America. So that's he's also covering the Cuba stuff. He's very good at covering these topics in depth. So we're going to watch the first part, the bilateral meeting, including YouTube. But before that, you guys remember, I got other channels to follow. Go to the main page. You'll find Frank's Funny Shorts as well as Frank's Show Clips. Thank you to those who've been hyping videos on his main channel here. But if you can, please hype them on that channel, Frank's Show Clips. You only get 3 hypes per week. And if you hype the small channel, it gets more points. That channel gets like 2,000 points per hype. This channel only gets like 100. So, yeah, please type videos over there. Cash App, buy me coffee, subscribe to our Patreon, or ways you can support the channel, or you can become a member like Sherry and become a member on YouTube. It's $3 a month, helps keep the channel alive. You could do that over on Rumble. If you do that on Rumble, it's $5 a month, and you get access to our Rumble Premium Hangouts where we talk about food and pets. You can also do that over on Foxhole, and you get a little tag that says Frank's Hens. Yes, we love our hens there. Thank you to everyone who's here. Hello, thank you, Lou Rock, for the donation. Thank you, Lou Rock. And then thank you, Charlie, for the donation. Thank you, Charlie. Good stuff. And then Kalesi, thank you for the $4. Thank you, buddy. And Ohio Kimmy. Yeah, thank you, Ohio Kimmy. Thank you, Ohio Kimmy. We love Ohio. Cleveland rocks, huh? Anywho. All right, here we go, guys.
Well, thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to be with the president of Lebanon. He's highly respected in his country and actually long beyond his country. We've spoken previously on numerous occasions through representatives, and the relationship is very good. I think that Lebanon has been a very mistreated country for a long period of time. It's an amazing group of people, professors, doctors, lawyers, great intellects, and it's been hit hard for many, many decades, really. It's been hit very, very hard. And yet I have people that live in Lebanon, people that are parents of friends of mine, in many cases, and they would never leave. They would not leave under any circumstance. They love it. They love the country, and it's probably a dangerous place in a lot of ways, but they live in areas, they say, we hear bombs going off all the time, but we want to live in Lebanon. They love the country. Very smart people, very successful people, and they live there. But it's been a country of great intellect, great intellectuals. They still love it. They want to be there, and we're going to help it. We're going to help it a lot. So it's an honor to have the president and your representatives here. We've already met a couple of times, and we've had some good meetings. And we are going to solve a lot of problems. We've already solved some of them for Lebanon. As you know, there's a Hezbollah problem, but we've done some things that I think the world will take notice. Again, it's been a very badly treated place and country, and we're going to have it properly treated and treated with respect that it deserves. And Mr. President, it's an honor having you. Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Thank you
I've
very
been
much.
looking forward to this visit for a long time.
Thank you very much.
Meeting such a great president like yourself.
Well, that's a very nice thing. See, he knows how to get to me. He can have anything. Now he can have anything. Would you like to say something?
Now, really, I would like to thank President Trump, really, and his team for the historic visit and for the historic achievement that we did together by signing the framework with the ultimate objective of ending the state of hostility between Lebanon and Israel forever. I think, Mr. President, this will be your legacy. Together, we'll be able to achieve this objective. It's about time for Lebanon and for the whole region to be stable and secure. And I know your vision is peace, your vision is stability, and I think my vision coincides with your vision. And together, I think we will be able to achieve and to score success in that regard.
I agree with that. I do agree with that. You have tremendous spirit on your side. You have people that love that country, and they're going to make it work.
We're going to make it work.
Right. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, Lebanon, I have two questions. One for you. President Trump, as you work to expand the Abraham Accords, Lebanon still enforces a 1955 law criminalizing contact with Israel for over 70 years. You previously stated you would push Lebanon on this issue. And there is some people still going to prison last month. So did you raise it you will raise it with President Trump today?
I will. The Abraham Accords have been, I think, a tremendous success. I think you're going to see a lot of countries joining pretty soon. As you know, we have our original group, and it's so successful for them. Economically successful. It's been that. Nobody left, even during this time of conflict. So, no, I think Lebanon has a very important place.
What is your level of concern of a blockade of the Red Sea by the Houthi rebels, opening up another front?
Well, we'll have to see what happens. So far, it hasn't happened. It might happen. But we take care of things. If something like that happens, we take care of it. You know, we've done that with the Houthis before, and we haven't heard from them in a while since we did what we did originally. It was about 45 days of very powerful action we took against the Houthis. And we've had no problem with the Houthis. They've had no problem with us for a long period of time, including during this conflict. I think that if there is something like that, we'll just have to take care of business.
Speaker of the Lebanese parliament rejected the agreement between Lebanon and Israel and he said it's a sedition. It's going to cause civil war. He's the speaker of the Lebanese parliament and he speaks for Hezbollah. He's the Hezbollah big brother. Yeah. What do you have to say about that?
Well, maybe I'll let you speak to that.
Actually, the framework doesn't require the endorsement of the parliament. Okay, it's part of our constitution. It's a prerogative of the president, and we are committed to it. And I think the Speaker of the Parliament is really wants to see the end of this war. He's from the south, and he knows he did his best to rebuild the south, but unfortunately, the south being destroyed in front of his eyes. So he's actually supportive of what we are doing, but we need to be careful. His position as a speaker and as a leader of the Shia community, we have to understand how critical is his position. But I can tell you that Speaker Berri is a man of state. He's supportive of what we are doing, and he's supportive of ending the state of hostility, ending the war once for all.
Just one thing. I think when he sees, because I've heard that he's a good person, good man, And when he sees the progress made, I'm sure he's going to come on.
From Lebanon, from LBCI TV from Lebanon. I have two questions, please. When will the Israeli army fully withdraw from Lebanon? Is there a clear timeline for that? And last question, please. Last week you met with the Iraqi Prime Minister and discussed him or described him as handsome and saying he could become one of the best leaders in the Middle East. How would you describe?
Which one are we talking about?
The Iraqi Prime Minister. Yes. How would you describe President Joseph?
Well, I'd say he's handsome also, and I think he could become one of the most important leaders in the Middle East. Actually, we do this because they've been trying to do this for decades, right? Decades and decades. So, if I made that statement about somebody else, I would put him in the same category.
When the Israeli army withdraw from Lebanon, withdraw from Lebanon, is there a clear timeline?
They're in the process of doing that. They're in the process of redeploying to other sections. And again, they get along very well. That was a great agreement they signed with Lebanon, and they're redeploying.
Is there a timeline?
Mr. President. The Lebanese army needs help, and the United States said that it's very important for the Lebanese army to take over the villages that Hezbollah withdraw from. How are you going to help them, and how?
Well, we're going to be speaking about that today.
Making sure that you will be in the
We'll be speaking about that today with the president, and we have some very concrete plans already in store for that, with others going in and helping. But they're also becoming much more self-sufficient. And we will be speaking about that. That's one of the subjects we're going to be talking about.
My question is, the Lebanese army said today that Israeli forces opened fire in proximity to the Lebanese trying to deploy in one of these pilot zones. This is day 2 of the pilot zones. Are you prepared to take any additional steps to put pressure on Israel to withdraw, which I believe President Aoun is planning to ask you?
Well, I just heard about that before this conference just happened, and we'll be looking at that, yeah.
Mr. President, there are no signs that Iran is ready to stop fighting. So what is the plan? Is the plan
how
to
would
just
you know
keep bombing until
How would
they
you
give
know
up?
if there are no signs? What, you know something that I don't know?
Well, they continue to attack our allies.
But you don't know what the dialogue is behind the scenes, that they want to meet desperately to try and end it because they're getting decimated. You don't get that when you listen to your fake station, but you don't know. You don't know anything.
So talks are
You know
still
something that I
possible,
don't know. You know something I don't know.
Well, tell us.
I will tell you, they want to desperately meet, and until they're ready to meet in a meaningful way, we have no interest in even.
Mr. President, are you planning on putting any pressure or consequences on China for what you announced about them meddling in the 2020 election?
Well, we're going to talk to them about it. It took place a long time ago. I think China is maybe a little bit different today than it was then. But look, they do things. It's not a one-way street, but we'll be talking to them. Yeah.
Mr. President, something that doesn't get talked about a lot, but Border Patrol reported 14 consecutive months, no releases at the southern border. This is something you talk a lot about on the campaign trail. It could run on the job you did on the southern border. Do you feel similarly at this point in time with midterms, considering how well the job you've done? What is the lesson you learned about Border Patrol?
Well, thank you for that question. The fact is, and maybe it pertains a little bit with respect to you and borders and everything else, we had a border that was totally out of control. I probably won the election, at least partially, on the border, would you say? And the border now, we literally in 14 months, I think it came out this morning, actually, it was just announced that in 14 months we had nobody coming through, zero people. I have to send millions came through, and we had 0 people come in illegally into our country. And that's made by people that happen to be Democrats, largely Democrats, the people that do those stats. And I'm sure they don't like saying it, but we really had virtually nobody coming in, and they actually say nobody, not even virtually. So it's amazing what's happened there, and very people talk about that anymore. You know, they don't like talking about that. They don't like talking about Venezuela, where we lost no people. I'll be going to Dover for something that I feel it's a great honor for me to do it. These are people that want it, and they feel like I do, that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Very simple. It's a very simple dictum. They cannot have a nuclear weapon, and they won't have. They're not going to. They have no chance of having a nuclear weapon. And as far as Iran is concerned, I'll let Pete maybe say a couple of words, but we are doing very well. We are degrading them at levels that nobody thought was possible. They're being degraded really so seriously. They did slip something through in Jordan, and if we had other operators, would not happened, unfortunately. But because we have the best equipment in the world, we've stopped almost everything. But when you let other people do your job, with the United States, we let other people do the job, and sometimes it doesn't work out so well. But we're going to be going and paying our respects at Dover. Pete, would you like to say just how we're doing, generally speaking?
Well, it'll be an honor as well to join you at Dover to recognize these incredible Americans who committed to the cause just like you are. Something no president's been willing to do. 47 years, they built up a conventional capability like the North Koreans did. Remember, that's how North Korea made their way to a bomb. So much weaponry that no one was willing to stand up to them. President Trump was, and he continues to this day. Iran's been given every opportunity to negotiate, to show that they're reasonable on the Strait of Hormuz. But if they're going to shoot at commercial shipping, then we're going to hit them, as the president said, 10 times harder, which every night we're degrading them further and further. And the president they can talk, otherwise they can deal with the War Department. And
the blockade is up and fully, it's, nobody gets through. Nobody gets through the blockade. It's like a steel wall.
Mr. President, thank you, Mr. President. Yesterday there was another attack on an ICE facility, this time in New York City. What, in your view, is prompting these attacks, and do you have a message for those who are attacking ICE?
You're talking about the fire that was set in front of the federal building? Well, this is what's happening with the people that they allowed to come into our country. They shouldn't have allowed them to come in, and they shouldn't be here. They're radical lunatics. And I'm getting them out. We're getting them out at a pace. We've gotten rid of more than any other president. I read stories. They try and give you phony stats. I was with Tom Homan this morning. He'll give you the statistics if you want. But we're getting bad people out of our country at levels never seen before. There's never been a time when more bad people. And you take a look just here in Washington. We got we took out almost 5,000 hard-line, hardcore criminals, most of whom came in during the open border periods of the previous administration. An amazing statistic, and this is something that I hate to be talking about in front of the president of Lebanon, but he's got his problems and they're different problems, but we don't have any problems in Washington, D.C. We've wiped out about 92% of the crime. And we're going to get very close to, I believe we're going to get close to 100% of the crime. And if you take a look at this city, compare this to what it was 15, 16 months ago, this was a dangerous city. I don't know I better not compare it to Lebanon because I don't exactly have your stats, but it might have been Lebanon was safer. This was a dangerous city under the previous administration, Biden. And now it's a very safe city. And there was an article that came out 2 days ago that Washington, D.C. has made the greatest progress of any city in the nation. Now, Memphis also, and New Orleans also. And if they would ask us for help in Chicago, we would turn that around so fast. If they'd ask us for help in New York, we would turn that around so fast. Los Angeles, we would turn that around so fast. But the stat that's so amazing is that 2% of the people create 91% of the crime. Think of that. It's a great stat. Because if it was 70% of the people, that's a problem. If it was 20%, that's 2% of the people create 91% of the crime. Think of that. 2% of the people, you can handle that easily. So Washington, D.C. is now one of the hottest cities in the country. We have the hottest country in the world. But Washington is now hot. And I do have to say one other thing. We just had the World Cup, as you know very well. And it was the most successful World Cup ever. We didn't even have a protest. We had no crime. With all those events, it was like having many, many Super Bowls. Each one was like a Super Bowl. And with all of that, we didn't have crime. We didn't have bedlam. Everybody left here with a different opinion than what they read in the fake news. They love this country. I saw Scotland. I saw Norway. I saw all these countries. I mean, the level of love that nobody wanted to leave. And I just want to congratulate everybody, the job that we did, and all of us, everybody in this room, because everybody in this room was involved. The vice president was very much involved. It was amazing. I was with Johnny the other day. The job he did is great, but he said he never thought in a million years it could be so free of any difficulty. Think of it. We didn't even have a protest. Not only no crime. Now, there's a reason for all this, but part of it was that people just wanted to pull together. This country, for like a 4-week period, just pulled together. Really amazing. And I didn't want to say it before the final. I didn't want to say how well it was doing. I wanted to get the final up with, because you never know. It only takes. But we just had the most successful World Cup in history. Did 5 times the business of any World Cup in history. And I can't wait to get him back, but I think we won't be able to get him for the next one.
Mr. President, here, especially with this upcoming.
Say what?
Do you feel safe, especially considering
I
the
feel
events of
safe.
your life?
I feel safe. Why wouldn't I feel safe?
President Trump is
I'm Pedro Mani from Al Jadid. Are you still speaking with Hezbollah? You said in previous interviews that you're speaking with
Well, I don't want to say that, but I would speak to Hezbollah. Yeah. I speak to everybody. I'll speak to people that a lot of people think I shouldn't be speaking to, and things work out.
Through Mr. President,
I would say this: if the president wanted me to speak to Hezbollah, you know, he's lived with Hezbollah for a long time, and if the president wanted me to speak to Hezbollah, I would. You know, I would.
Mr. President, follow up on Iran. If the Iranians do not make a deal ultimately, how long will it take for you to stamp out their threats to the Strait and enable full shipping?
So if we left right now, it would take around 20, 25 years to rebuild. Okay? And we're not finished at all. But if we left right now, it would take them a long time, years to rebuild. But we're not leaving right now. So we've had a big impact on Iran. If we didn't do what I did with regard to 2 things, the Iran nuclear deal done by Barack Hussein Obama, I terminated that. If I didn't terminate it, you wouldn't have Israel right now, because they would have had a nuclear weapon years ago. And if we didn't do the B-2 bombers, knocking out the nuclear sites a year ago, one of the first things we did early in the administration, they would have a nuclear weapon, and you wouldn't have Israel, and in my opinion, you wouldn't have various other countries in the Middle East. They'd all be gone. They would have been terminated, extinguished. But I believe that by doing what we did, by terminating Iran, who's very evil people leading that country. You saw the number of protesters that they killed, 52,000 plus. I put a couple of them up today, young kids that kill them. They kill them like they're candy. It's crazy what they do. They treat them so badly. They're just killing people just at random. Over 52,000 people, and nobody talks about it. But if I didn't do the attack on their nuclear sites, or if I didn't terminate the Obama agreement with Iran, which was an absolute hit on having them get, that was a road to a nuclear weapon. And our deal will be a wall. It already is. They can't have a nuclear weapon right now. It would take them years to produce it. And we will absolutely attack the new site that they're talking about. I mean, how about these people? They're in this because of nuclear weapons, and they're trying to possibly reconstitute a site. We'll hit that site. Any site where they're even thinking about nuclear, we'll be hitting it very, very powerfully. Now, nobody knows, except the Iranians, the damage that we've done to them. We have done damage that will take them 20, 25 years to recover from. So if we left tomorrow, we had a big success. But we're not leaving tomorrow.
Their ability to threaten the Strait, though. There's a bill right now that's being considered that would allow illegal aliens who are working in farming to get legal status. Do you support that legislation?
I don't know about it. I'll take a look at it.
Last night, the Canada tariffs. One, are those a response to the wildfires in?
No. That's separate. We're looking at that separately.
And what is there anything?
It's only a response to the way they've treated our farmers and our people. Canada's been very, very tough on us over the years, for many years, and no other president's done anything about it. I love Canada. I love the people of Canada. Many friends that live in Canada, but their leadership from Trudeau to the current leadership, I mean, in all fairness to them, they need us to survive. Without us, there's no way they can survive. So, but they've been very, very tough over a period of the last 50 years, actually.
On Syria, Tony Murad, NBC ITV from Lebanon. Do you still support Syria entering Lebanon to disarm Hezbollah?
You mean coming in and doing something with Hezbollah?
Yes.
Well, it's a concept, we get along very well with the president of Syria. He's done a very good job. I wouldn't be surprised if this gentleman's going to do a job just like that. He's done a very good job. He's pulled Syria together. He would like to come in and do something with Hezbollah. They've been fighting. He's been fighting Hezbollah for a long time. I think it'd be very effective. So it's something I think.
On tariffs, you increased tariffs on Canada yesterday. Can you say if you still expect to impose tariffs on the wildfire problem? And can you say
we're looking at that? A lot of damage has been done. They're not managing their forests properly, and the wind has a tendency to blow right over New York City, right over. You saw Detroit; they had to close the whole place. Michigan was really affected. They had to close businesses for 4 days. It's very serious what they're doing, and they don't seem to be able to do anything about it. If they managed their forests, they wouldn't have the fire.
Do you believe that Iran is trying to impact the midterm elections by threatening the Strait of Hormuz?
Probably. They won't have any impact on me. I'm just going to do the right thing. I don't view it as, gee, we're having an election in a period of time. Everyone says, oh, I'm doing something before. No, the election, I can't think about that having to do with this. I think people are very impressed. I mean, we took over Venezuela. We now have a great relationship with Venezuela. We went to war with Venezuela, and the war ended in one day. And we have now an incredible relationship with Venezuela. We're taking out millions of barrels of oil. They're making more money now than they ever made before, ever. And we're making a lot of money. We paid for the war many times over with Venezuela. We lost nobody. We lost nobody. We didn't lose one. And it was a violent attack. As you know, we took out a man who was a very evil man. What he did was very evil, in many different ways. We took him out. But Venezuela, they said the same thing. When I did Venezuela, everyone said, because look at the drugs, look at what they did, where they took all of their prisons, they opened up their prisons, and they have everybody in a prison come in through Biden's absolutely insane open borders policy. And we did that in one day. Think of it. And now we are working very closely with the administration, and we get along very well. Venezuela is a very happy place. They had a tragic incident with the event that took place a week ago. What a terrible thing that was. They had a movement, a shifting of earth that was unbelievable. They've never seen anything like it. A lot of people were killed. So it's all unrelated. But by the way, we were the first ones there to help. We were there to help Venezuela. It was an earthquake, I guess you'd call it. It was a pretty massive earthquake, and we were able to do a lot of good, but they lost a lot of people. Venezuela, the people are so happy that we're there. The jobs, everything's happening, and we're taking out many times the money that we spent on the war. This one, Iran is bigger. It's a more complex situation, but we're probably doing equally as well if you look at the damage that's been done. And again, as I said to the young man that just posed the question over here, if we left today, it would take them decades to rebuild. And I don't believe they could ever rebuild. And honestly, they haven't seen anything yet. We've been nice. We've been nice.
Haley Bullis, Scripps News. Thank you for the question. Do you believe that Iran has moved nuclear centrifuges into Pickaxe Mountain? And when you say we're not done yet, what is left to finish?
Well, I think that they may have. We don't have it on record. All we do is read the fake news. We time. So, maybe this one they have right, but it's okay. It doesn't mean anything unless they have the material. You're talking about the centrifuges. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything unless they have the material. They don't have. We follow the material. That's where the action is, and we'll be hitting that area probably pretty soon. And there's not a thing they can do about it. Normally I wouldn't say that. If I thought they could do something about it, I would never say that. But we'll be hitting that area pretty soon, and very heavily. Please go ahead.
President Trump, 2 years ago during the campaign, I interviewed you and you told me on MTV Lebanon that the peace will happen in Lebanon. And every word you said during the interview, it's happening today. Like from the first day in the administration, you were working hard for peace.
It's true. Because I understood Lebanon, and I understood how horribly Lebanon has been treated as a country. They've been like a whipping post. What's happened with Iran and with Hezbollah, but Lebanon's been treated very incredibly badly. And maybe I'm a little prejudiced in favor of Lebanon because I have so many Lebanese friends. You're not at all. Well, no, but there's so many Lebanese friends. And so I understand Lebanon. Tom Barrack is Lebanese, the ambassador.
Regarding the Lebanese army, President Trump, does the Lebanese army currently have the funding, equipment, and manpower necessary to implement the agreement? Or you are asking today President Trump for additional U.S. assistance today to do the job?
Definitely, with the support of President Trump, and we spoke on the phone, and I told him I need 2 things from you: political support and supporting of the LAF, which is the LAF is the most trusted institution in the country, and it has the most powerful weapon, which is the trust of the public. Like any armed forces in the world, the Lebanese armed forces is the backbone of security and stability. We need to support the LAF. The LAF maintain the country safe and stable. Without the LAF, everything will collapse. We don't want that. I think President Trump doesn't want that. In 1975, the first institution to collapse was the LAF. And as a result, we saw the emergence of many local militias, and the South was empty, allowing the Palestinians to roam the South and launch attack against Israel. We don't want to see that back again. All we're asking is keep supporting the LAF. And they know that the LAF is doing great job, performing its duty to the fullest. I fully trust the LAF. I fully trust the leadership of the LAF.
We will have they did a great step forward with the recent signing with Israel. That was a big step.
Are you going to allow direct flight from America to Lebanon again on federal?
I can see that happening, absolutely.
Question for President Tony Bradley from MCI TV. So Ambassador Isa, the U.S. Ambassador to Lebanon, Isa, told me that the President would not leave Washington empty-handed. What concrete outcomes will you bring back to Lebanon?
You'll find out. Thank you all very much. We're doing very well with Iran. We're doing unbelievably with the economy. We have investment. As you know, Toyota is coming in with the biggest plant, I understand, anywhere in the world. They're leaving Mexico. They're coming into our country. They're going to come into Texas, to be specific. We have more plants under construction now than at any time, by many times. We have over $19.2 trillion being spent in America, and they're going to be opening up in a year or a year and a half. And there has never been a time like this in America. Truly, it's the golden age of America. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, guys. All right, guys. We have more to watch. We're going to do it over on Rumble. We're going to do it over on Rumble because they don't like watch parties on YouTube. We have today's episode of Asian Women Are Awful, followed by today's episode of Joshua, and he's going to be deep diving the Marco Rubio's report on Cuba. So that should be quite interesting. We'll see you guys over there. Goodbye. By the way, you can find Joshua's channel on YouTube. It's called Crossroads with Joshua Phillip with 2 P's at the end. Crossroads with Joshua Phillip. You can find that on YouTube. Or just meet us over on Rumble. We're going to watch it over there. See you guys. Goodbye, YouTube. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.